Welcome to another Elder Scrolls lore video, guys. So instead of making a Witcher lore video today, I decided to cover a bit of a different series, but still a high fantasy series. And the series I chose was Elder Scrolls. As I've already done multiple videos on the Elder Scrolls, I've done one lore video and I'm currently doing an Oblivion playthrough, and I thought for a lore video today, it would be cool to cover some Elder Scrolls lore. So after thinking about what video to make, I decided to make today's video on werewolves, as I really like werewolves in any sort of fantasy. I think they're such a cool creature, but I just think it's such a cool concept and it has such cool characters around it, so I've decided to make today's video on werewolves. So to begin with, some basic information on these creatures. So werewolves in the Elder Scrolls universe are created through a human or any other humanoid races contracting a disease known as lycanthropy. And this disease then causes the afflicted person to transform into a were-creature, and the were-creatures I'm covering today are werewolves. So werewolves are actually the most common strain of lycanthropy, and unlike a lot of region-specific lycanthropes, like for example werebears are said to be more common in Skyrim, werewolves can be found throughout the whole of Tamriel. So the creature of a werewolf itself is the unison of a man and a wolf. It's pretty much if you took every best physical trait from a human and all the best physical traits of a wolf, amplified them a bit, and turned them into one creature. That's what a werewolf is. And it's not just the best physical traits, as a werewolf is significantly more intelligent than a normal wolf. But of course the instincts and everything else do dumb down a werewolf's intelligence a little bit, but if someone can control their transformations, they are arguably one of the most intelligent killing machines in the Elder Scrolls universe. So most werewolves in the Elder Scrolls universe can't actually control their transformations, and most of them just change randomly. Some may transform once a month, while others may transform once a night. It's actually surprising because a full moon has no effect on them whatsoever. This is just a myth. They transform completely randomly. It isn't necessarily at night time as well. Werewolves are also said to have a unique sense of smell, allowing them to detect any hot-blooded animals from some distance away, because as we know with wolves and dogs in the real world, their noses are significantly better than humans, and a werewolf's nose is even better than that. And that nose, paired with their almost human-like intelligence that I mentioned earlier, that makes them some of the best hunters in the Elder Scrolls universe, as they can detect animals and hot-blooded creatures from miles away. Now to move on to the origins of these creatures. So similar to vampires, werewolves were created by a Daedric lord. But in the werewolves' case, it was the Daedric lord Hircine. And Hircine originally created lycanthropy as a way to bestow a blessing upon his most devout followers and his greatest hunters. And I just want to interject here, the disease lycanthropy is not just a term applied for werewolves, as there are many other animal-human hybrids under this name. For example, werebears, werebats, weresharks, even though weresharks are thought to be more of a myth, even though I think they do exist but they're very rare. But anyway, I'm going to go over each of those were creatures in their own videos and later videos, as I do really like all the lycanthropes, and I think they all deserve their own videos. So the Daedric Lord Hircine himself likes to maintain an active role in his creation's lives, and has even been known to enhance some of his children with increased abilities or powerful artifacts, such as the Ring of Hircine that allows the user to control their transformations, or the Totems of Hircine that allow them to change what their howl does. My next segment is becoming a werewolf. So the followers of Hircine, or the lycanthropes, were also given the ability to give this blessing to others. And this is by feeding their blood to whoever they want to bestow this blessing upon. Or they can do it by creating some sort of contact that pierces the skin, and this is such as biting or scratching, but those methods aren't as effective as, say, the blood method, as the blood method is pretty much guaranteed to turn somebody into a werewolf. So this blessing, if done correctly, can also replace vampirism. And the only way to really do this is to drink a werewolf's blood, as that completely just purges the disease, even if you're a higher vampire. So when you ingest a werewolf's blood, it's so potent that it will almost instantly cause whoever ingested the blood to turn into a werewolf. Whereas, as I said, the other method is a little less airtight, and they could possibly find a way to cure themselves before the disease has fully taken hold, as curing the disease once it's fully taken hold is very hard. Next, the effects of becoming a werewolf. So after somebody's become a werewolf, they will be much more susceptible to silver weaponry. And it's not exactly explained why, but it's thought that there may be some sort of allergic reaction towards silver, which therefore weakens the defenses of the creature more. So another effect is the transformation itself, and this transformation is thought to actually be quite painful for somebody who is changing. Because whilst turning into the beast, your arms will begin to lengthen, your shoulder width will increase, your legs will grow in height, and your hips will also go narrow. And after all those changes take into effect, the benefits do include enhanced strength, enhanced stamina, enhanced resilience, enhanced speed, and enchanted claws. They're actually immune to normal weaponry. And also, if you're more specifically a werewolf, wolves are less likely to attack you. as they respect you as, I guess you could say, the most powerful wolf there, so therefore the alpha. And another effect of being a werewolf, which I guess you could say is a drawback, is that in human form, the individual will still feel the cravings of the beast and want to hunt and kill anything in sight. And also, when some lycanthropes turn back to human form, they still retain some physical traits from their wolf form, such as tufts of hair and increased sense of smell. And another effect that is also a benefit is that lycanthropes are actually immune to all other diseases, including vampirism unless you're changed by a higher vampire. Next, after death, all lycanthropes are called to hircine's hunting grounds, and this is to spend the rest of their existence hunting with their fellow lycanthropes, which in some people's eyes they would like and in some people's eyes they wouldn't, so you can kind of decide that one for yourself if you'd like that or not. And sometimes hircine may actually grant a werewolf the ability to turn fully into a wolf, but I don't really see how that would be more of a benefit, but I guess you would blend in a lot more. So next, I imagine you'll all be wondering, how do werewolves that want to fit in with society function? Or how do werewolves just fit into society as a whole? So even though some werewolves try to fit in with human society, most of the time they are discovered by specialised lycanthrope extermination groups, and this is groups such as the Silver Hand or the Vigilant of Stendar. However, some werewolves can fit into society fairly well. I mean, the main example I can give you is the Companions, who all have complete control over their transformations. They also treat their curse as more of a blessing, at least most of them do, and at least that was the generally agreed opinion, and they use it to pursue the greater good. However, most people are generally terrified of werewolves, and if anybody, even people like the Companions, were to transform into their beast-like state, they would most likely be killed on sight. And some werewolves and lycanthropes just prefer to remain apart from society entirely, and they stay in packs in the wilderness. I mean, one example I can give you guys that have probably played Skyrim is that in the Dragonborn DLC, you can actually find a werewolf pack in Solstheim. So next, to move on to what werewolves eat. Weirdly enough, werewolves are not just meat eaters, and in fact they sometimes are known to eat berries when necessary. So this shows us that, like humans, werewolves are omnivores, which is quite an interesting little fact. I mean, generally they'll go for meat because they get a bloodlust, but they also can survive off other things too. So for the final part of this video, I'm going to discuss how you cure lycanthropy, and therefore cure being a werewolf. Currently, there are 4 known ways to cure lycanthropy, and these are the ways that I will list now. Number 1. Undergoing a ritual performed by the Glenmoral witches, and this ritual consists of the witches sacrificing an innocent, then infecting them with the werewolf's flesh, and then they resurrect this innocent, and then you get the lycanthrope to kill them a second time, and therefore this releases their inner beast so they can kill it. Number 2, giving the condition to somebody with dormant werewolf genes, and for some reason this passes on the disease entirely and cures whoever passed it on. This is probably something hircine put in, as he likes the idea of having pure-blooded werewolves, and he feels like maybe it could be kind of a reward for the people who pass on the disease. Number 3, you can behead the Glenmoral witches and perform a ritual with their heads. This releases a lot of very powerful magic, and also allows you to release the inner beast, which is like a projection of lycanthropy that you can then fight, and then defeat it. And number 4, you can finally have it cured with vampirism. And you may not class this as a cure, but say if you wanted to be a vampire, if you got a pure-blooded vampire to infect you, it would completely purge the werewolf disease. If you were to get a normal vampire and try this, it simply wouldn't work. Only pure-blooded vampires can do this. Anyway guys, I hope you've all enjoyed today's lore video. This is just meant to be a very, very basic video on werewolves as a whole. I'm going to do videos on each individual lycanthrope in the future, so be sure to stay tuned for that. I also plan to do videos on the Daedric Lords like, say, hircine, as I haven't covered him fully, but I've covered pretty much everything to do with him and werewolves, at least that's important for this video. So I hope you've all enjoyed today's video anyway. If you want to see more Elder Scrolls lore videos, be sure to click like on this video, as it will let me know that you guys actually enjoy them. Obviously, I would still do more Witcher lore videos than Elder Scrolls, but I'm going to try and do some Elder Scrolls here and there. So be sure to click the like button, guys, and it also supports me, so thank you. If this is the first video you're finding on my channel, I do high fantasy lore videos every few days, mainly it's on The Witcher. However, I will be trying to do some more Elder Scrolls lore soon, so be sure to subscribe to the channel. And also, of course, be sure to follow me on Twitter, as I do updates on there whenever I can. This video was actually decided from a poll on Twitter, so if you want to make sure you're part of those polls and you get a say in what videos you see, be sure to go and follow me on Twitter, and then you'll get the tweet for when I do these polls. Also, of course, be sure to follow me on Twitch. I honestly love playing Skyrim. I'm starting to get back into a mood where I want to play it more and more, so maybe I'll try and stream that at some point when I get a better computer. I'll do different characters, do different storylines with each character. I'm obviously going to play it on the channel at some point anyway, and do like a proper Dragonborn playthrough with that one, but if I ever do it on a stream, maybe I'll design a specific character, and that might be quite a fun thing to do. So be sure to go and follow me on Twitch if you want to see the notification for when I do something like that. And also, of course, a big thank you to the Patreon pledges. You guys are amazing. I got a few new patrons recently, and it's honestly amazing whenever I see anyone join. I just think it's such a nice thing for you you guys to do. I'm just very, very grateful that you do this. It really helps me out. I recently got a new keyboard and mouse, which are really, really good, and I use that with the Patreon money, because even though I have ads on my videos, I haven't been paid yet from YouTube, so the Patreon money is really, really helping out. So thank you all so much, and I'm really happy to put all of you at the end of these videos. Anyway guys, I hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Have an awesome rest of the week.